It's cold out there. It's dark. It's stormy. There's a very, very big gale blowing. Flights are being cancelled or redirected from airports all over the country. And the government are saying that we should probably stay indoors and not go anywhere. So thankfully, I have whiskey. So I'm hoping I'll be okay. When I started this journey of putting a list together of Christmas movies and associated whiskies, I set some rules, some ground rules, and one of them was no sequels. Because, if you do that, then, I end up having to watch things like the third Tim Allen Santa Claus film or something, which, let's be honest, nobody really wants to do. So I said no sequels. Multiple adaptations of the same thing is fine, because, if I'm honest, if we don't have multiple adaptations of A Christmas Carol, then we'll probably run out of films to watch, because almost all of them are. But they are my rules, and I've chosen to break them. So I am going to watch a sequel, and in the spirit of planes being diverted during a storm, it seems only natural that I should watch Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Yes, it has a terrible tagline, one of the worst taglines in cinematic history, and that alone would normally prevent me from going and watching a movie at the cinema. But thankfully, I've seen this film quite a few times before, and it's pretty good. When I was a kid, I used to actually think this was the better one. I preferred this one to Die Hard 1. As I've grown older, I've realised the error in my ways. Die Hard 1 is the superior product, but Die Hard 2 is still pretty awesome. Of course, starring the wonderful Bruce Willis, and this one probably suffers from not having as great a villain. The villain is very good, but it's William Sadler, I think, who, again, has played lots of villains in lots of different things. He's very good, but he's no Hans Gruber. And thankfully, it does also have some good comic relief with another kind of semi-villain in William Atherton playing the sleazy reporter, separated only by a few feet in a restraining order from John McClane's wife, Holly. Now, I know some people out there are still purists and would say that this is not a Christmas movie. They don't think any of the Die Hards are Christmas movies. But it is. I'm sorry, it is. It's set at Christmas. It's set on Christmas Eve. It's there's a snowstorm that is preventing families from getting together. I mean, that happens in Christmas movies all the time. Yes, and there's also terrorists. That happens maybe a bit less, but I'm sure it happens more than once or twice. It's got a complete message of hope in there as well. Hope to be rescued, hope that it will all work out in the end, and that everyone can get together just in time to be with their families on Christmas Day. And in the true spirit of Christmas, we are looking at one great hope, our last best hope for redemption. And it is, of course, John McClane that we turn to. He is our hero in these difficult times. So it is a Christmas movie, and it's a wonderful Christmas movie at that. And I absolutely love it. So I'm going to watch that. And that means I need a whiskey to go with it. And I actually didn't struggle to pick the whiskey that I'm going to have, because when I decided I was going to do Die Hard 2, I was like, right, I need to think about sequels. And what I've picked is a whiskey that I consider to be a more than worthy sequel to one of the all-time greats. And the great I'm thinking of is Springbank over in Campbeltown. Springbank are one of the almighty legends of the industry, right? They are a great old distillery, much loved by everyone. If you can get hold of a bottle, the 1 or 2 times a year they decide to sell anything. But they're awesome. They're absolutely awesome. And it's a really beautiful place as well. And the thing is, there are other whiskies in Campbeltown. Not a lot, but there are other whiskies over in Campbeltown that can often be maybe a little sidelined or a little forgotten. And one of those whiskies is Kilkerran. Now, Kilkerran, I consider it a sequel in this instance to Springbank, even though they're not at the same distillery. Kilkerran is not made at the Springbank distillery; it's made just over the road at the Glengyle distillery. They share the same production team, so the same people who work in the Springbank distillery go over the road and they work in Glengyle and make Kilkerran. It was founded back in the late 1800s by the guy who used to run Springbank, and now, as of a good few years ago now, both Springbank and Kilkerran and the Glengyle distillery are under the same umbrella. They are all a part of the same company. The Mitchell Company. And so, to me, it is a great, great sequel. And so if you are struggling during one of those Springbank sales to get hold of a bottle of Springbank, you can do no worse than picking up a bottle of Kilkerran instead, if you can't get one. A bottle of Springbank, that is. So, I'm going to have a sherry cask matured 8-year-old Kilkerran, freshly opened today. I did try this at a tasting a few weeks ago, and it's very, very good. Very, very good. From what I remember, of course, because of being the disorganized person that I am, I didn't make any notes, but I'm pretty sure it was good. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. Great colour as well. Obviously, loads of sherry influence there. It's not been watered down because it's cask matured. So again, all the wood colour coming through, and really, really excited to have this. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it is a worthy sequel to Springbank, just as Die Hard 2, Die Harder, bad tagline, is a great sequel and a worthy sequel to Die Hard. And thankfully, that's where it ends. They didn't make any more Die Hard films after that. Just the two and done, and we're all happy. Right, I'm going to go watch that, drink this, and I'll see you in a minute. I'm back from watching Die Hard 2, Die Harder. One of the things I really like about rewatching old films is when you recognise now famous or semi-famous actors who you didn't recognise when you first watched it. So lots of people in this movie that jump out. John Leguizamo plays a little bit part in there. Robert Patrick, T-1000. I did remember once he appeared on screen, I was like, oh yeah, of course he's in this. But pre T-1000 days. So yeah, it's just fun when that kind of stuff happens. Great film. Love Die Hard 2. I've seen it so many times. It's just a classic little Christmas movie. Yes, I am watching it, I guess, early for December. Really, I suppose it's it's set right before Christmas, but it feels like the right time to have watched it and really get me in the mood for the snow, which of course will not come in December in the UK because that's just the way it goes. It's quite cheesy. It is quite cheesy as a movie, which again makes it very Christmassy because Christmas and cheesy movies they go together. And I definitely think on rewatch it isn't as strong as Die Hard 1, for a number of reasons. But it's still a classic, a good, fun family film, with a message of hope, and all that stuff. But yeah, great stuff, great fun. I'm going to give it 8 Maids of Milking. Partially because I think as a movie, it has dated a bit. So it's not as high as maybe it was a few years ago. And obviously as a Christmas movie, it is a good Christmas movie, but it is lacking a few little things that certainly the first one, Die Hard 1, has in spades. So yeah, there you go. As for the whiskey, Kilkerran 8-year-old sherry. It's gorgeous. Actually, I pulled a little bit more out just so I could do a little bit more nosing, and it's It's so rich. It's so rich and full-bodied. Yes, it's cash strength, which I think adds to that as well. It's really impactful on the nose. As soon as you taste it as well, the peat comes through. You know, it is a little peaty. It's not as peaty as some of their range, but it is a peaty whiskey. But it's a great blend of peatiness with the sherry influences. It's quite wintry. It's quite a good wintry dram. So great for this time of the year. Great for when there is a storm blowing outside and you're petrified of stepping out your door. It's there's lots of like dark fruits, red berries, all that kind of stuff coming through, and it's quite chewy as well. You know, that's probably the peat influence there, but it's got all of those characteristics going for it, which make it a truly phenomenal dram. And when I started by talking about sequels, there are some sequels out there that are better than the original. Empire Strikes Back, Godfather 2, Dark Knight. There are sequels out there that are better than the original. Is Kilkerran better than Springbank? Probably not, but I'd argue it is on par, or at least it is with some of the more recent expressions I've had of both the Springbank and the Kilkerran. But hey, I'm sure there'll be lots of people who disagree. So I am going to give this a 9. I'm giving a lot of whiskey. It feels like I'm giving a lot of whiskeys kind of 8s and 9s. But hey, I can't help it. They're good. So that's where we're at. Really good fun tonight. I enjoyed that. I definitely got in the Christmassy mood. Something about the Die Hard films that always do that for me. And tomorrow, I actually don't remember what I'm watching tomorrow. I think we might be going back to Dickens tomorrow. Possibly. But we'll find out then. If you can like this video, subscribe to our channel as well. Obviously, it takes a fair amount of effort going through in the month of December, putting all these videos together. Not that I'm complaining. I'm having great fun doing it. But if you could subscribe, that'd be great. And then who knows? In January, we might start rolling out all kinds of other content as well. Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much. Yippee-ki-yay, as they say.